Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the arena the challenger for tonight's title from Sheffield and Yemen, Prince Naseem.
And he really is going to get the most hostile of receptions. Always he's come into an adoring public before, but not tonight. That other showman, Chris Eubank, of course, always used to thrive on the hostility of foreign crowds or crowds that were opposed to it, didn't he?
He did, yes, and I'm not sure if Hamed feels the same way. He seemed to react very well to it. He seems still to be very, very confident. He says he'll thrive on this sort of atmosphere. That's yet to be seen.
Still only 21 years of age, unbeaten in 19 fights. The self-proclaimed, the outrageous Prince Naseem Hamed. He's fazed by any of this, and it really is quite an intimidating atmosphere, I can tell you. It isn't showing yet.
No, he's got quite a way to go before he gets into the ring, but
there's one thing for certain. This young fella is going to realise that he is a long, long way from Sheffield. Just look at the security surround him, making sure that no silly spectators try it on. An unusual experience for him to have to enter the ring first of all. The great showman denied the dramatic late entrance. So far, he's looked one of the most exciting talents that Britain has produced in years. Tonight, he has to prove it, though, against a proud, strong, solid champion. Will this be his coronation, or the night that the crown doesn't quite seem to fit after all? You have to say it, you've got to give him credit. He's so relaxed now. Just listen to the reaction, though, when he gets in the ring and everybody gets sight of him. Mentor Brendan Ingle is there. Even he's got leopard skin on tonight. Now what's happening here? Naseem is not going into the ring. What is he waiting for? He's letting all the camp followers through now. Here he comes. Well, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it has to be said, so far he's matched all the antics and all the brash predictions with deeds in the ring.
that's right. And he's certainly done one thing, and that he's put people on seats. A fantastic crowd here.
They've all got seats, but they're all standing up, this crowd, who paid between £20 and £100 for their tickets. Looks as if he's turned up for a few hours in the nightclub. Not his first world title fight, doesn't he? Well, I must say the reaction isn't as hostile as I thought it was going to be.
No, I think still a lot of people like this sort of thing. It's good showmanship. You're out there enjoying the whole occasion.
Well, as a world title challenger, ever gone through this routine before the biggest fight of his life.
One brought to mind is Hector Camacho, who always had a few antics like this as well.
Just look at that extraordinary aerial shot. That's how full, that's how crammed the Cardiff Rugby Club is tonight. The rain that was threatening a deluge earlier on has stopped. We are all set here. And when Naseem has finished strutting his stuff, Steve Robinson will be making his entrance.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the WBO featherweight champion of the world, Wales's Steve Robinson!
8th defence of the title for the local hero, Steve Robinson. The Welsh Dragon, well, will it be roaring tonight? Well, here he comes, Steve Robinson. Frankly, he doesn't really believe in all the hype. This is a no-nonsense pro who was brought up appearing and often losing on undercards in boxing outposts like Canby Island. And for those of you unfamiliar with the story, let me remind you, at 48 hours' notice, they gave him a world title chance. He seized it, and he's been champion for 2.5 years since. Leading Steve Robinson out, by the way, is a goat called Jenkins, who is a mascot of the Royal Regiment of Wales. He looks so intense. From the tough Ely district, Steve Robinson, well, they're full of showmanship here tonight. Steve Robinson has never had an entrance like this. This Di Gardner, famous fight figure in Wales, the manager leading him out. Ronnie Rush is in there too, the 60-year-old Trinidadian who's been with Steve Robinson ever since he was 9 years old. A man who's caused so many upsets along the way. Will he cause a sensation tonight? And just look, Steve Robinson wearing those cellophane wrappings on his feet. That's sensible, just to make sure the bottom of his boots don't get wet and he doesn't slip during the contest. Hamed did not have that protection. We're ready to go here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is sanctioned and conducted under the rules of the World Boxing Organization, whose officials at ringside are the supervisor, Mr. John Montana of Arizona. The British Boxing Board of Control steward in charge is Lord Brooks of Tremorfa, and the judges sat at ringside scoring the contest are Mr. Paul Thomas from Derby, Mr. Sam Bavette from New York, and Mr. Walter Cavaliere from Virginia, USA. The man in charge of the action tonight, the referee, who is officiating as referee in his 58th world title contest, Mr. Ismael Fernandez of Puerto Rico. The timekeeper at the bell, Mr. My lords, ladies and gentlemen, tonight from Cardiff Arms Park in the capital of Wales, Cardiff, live and exclusive on Europe's premier sports channel, Sky Sports and Big Time Boxing, it's Big Fight Time! Sponsored by Middle East Broadcasting Centre, MBC and the Sun newspaper, and promoted by Frank Warren for Sports Network, who proudly present a contest of 12 3-minute rounds to decide the WBO Featherweight Championship of the World. Between introducing the boxers, firstly in the blue corner and wearing the leopard and fighting from Yemen and Sheffield, in his 19 professional contests, he is unbeaten and only twice he's gone the full distance, winning 17 contests by way of KO. He weighed in at yesterday's weigh-in at 8 stone 13 1/4 pounds. He comes to the ring tonight, the former undefeated bantamweight champion of Europe and the current WBC International Super Bantamweight champion, and the challenger for tonight's title, ladies and gentlemen, Prince Naseem. Across the ring, ladies and gentlemen, in the red corner, and coming from Cardiff, from his 31 professional contests, he has 21 wins, 11 by way of KO, 9 losses and 1 draw. He weighed in at 8 stone 13 3/4 pound, and tonight he is making the 8th defence of his title, which is the WBO Featherweight Champion of the World. From Cardiff, your very own Steve.
Fantastic reception for Robinson.
The referee for tonight's contest, Ismael Fernandez, will now give his instructions to both boxers.
Puerto Rican referee Wiso Fernandez handled the recent Steve Collins-Chris Eubank fight. He's been around a long time. He even was the referee when Muhammad Ali fought Jean-Pierre Koopmans, and that was way back when. $16,000 people awaiting this big fight. Naseem Hamed. Will the Prince's big hitting take Robinson out? He's done it to other durable fighters before. Might he dance his elusive way to a points victory? Or will Robinson, the natural featherweight, wear him down? And as we wait for the first bell, it has begun to rain. Just another element. We hope that that does not get onto the ring canvas, which is quite well covered. It's not blowing in at the moment. Naseem Hamed was actually saying this week, despite all the hype, that he actually does, in a sneaking way, quite like Steve Robinson and what he's achieved, but he says he's going to beat him inside 4 rounds here. But remember, this is Naseem Hamed's first fight at featherweight, up from 8 stone 10 to 9 stone. Robinson, the defending champion, is the natural man at this weight. As the rain begins to fall and it's getting heavier. 12 rounds for the WBO Featherweight Championship. Key factors at this point fight what happens when Hamed starts to land cleanly. Will the punches bounce off Robinson, who's never been stopped? He's got a good tight defence, Robinson.
Interesting to hear Di Gardner, just as Robinson left the ring, saying, keep it tight, keep it tight. So they're probably expecting a very fast start from Hamed.
And he gets through Robinson. Hamed waves him in. Hamed with this flashy style of his arms down by his hips, punches coming from crazy angles. Very hard to prepare for, because you never quite know what he's going to do next. I sometimes wonder if he does. But we've never seen Hamed put under pressure or in a crisis before. Can Robinson achieve that? I think maybe his battle plan here might be to try and draw Hamed's sting and then wear him down later on. Let's see.
Yes, it certainly looks that way. He's keeping very, very tight. You see the guard well protecting him. You see the guard of Hammond very open.
Robinson is even saying that he might be made to look a bit silly for the first 3 rounds missing, but he says, I'll get the job done, don't worry about that. Good right uppercut that from Hamed, and he followed it with a good left too. Robinson took that all right.
Yes, you've seen the style of Hamed, very loose. Punches come from all sorts of angles. And that uppercut, he brought it right from the floor, right up the middle. Good uppercut from Hamed.
Showboating already from Hamed. Trying to lure Robinson in, no doubt with the aim of counter-punching him, but Robinson's not buying that. He's fighting out of that high-held guard and just waiting his chances.
Yes, Robinson said he wasn't going to chase him. He was going to let Hamed come to him. He knows he's the champion. Hamed has got to take the title away from him.
Nothing very much has got through from either of them in this first round. There's a lot been hitting the gloves, the high-held gloves, particularly of the champion, Robinson. Coming up towards the end of a fascinating opening round. This is going to be cagey, nip and tuck, you feel. As Steve Robinson defends his WBO featherweight championship for the 8th time against Prince Naseem Hamed. We're coming up to the second round, and 7 of Naseem's wins have come in this round. This is a round he tends to favour after a quiet opening round. Now let's see what he can make of Robinson's strategy here.
Yes, well, Robinson not doing a great deal at the moment. He's just keeping very tight. He's letting Hamed lead to him. He's obviously going to look to counter.
Hamed so far is finding it difficult to find a way through. Now Robinson will look to try and cut him off on those ropes and gets through with the right hand. The problems Robinson might have here is getting close enough to this slippery, quicksilver, elusive young man from Sheffield. To wear him down, he's got to be landing punches. Naseem is hitting the gloves with those jabs, I can tell you, because we're only about 5 or 6 feet away from them.
Yes, he's just flicking the gloves. What he's trying to do is get Robinson to lead, to counter back, and then he's trying to look for an opening, Hamed.
Now that is just a slip. He just wrestled him over. There'll be no count for that. And the Robinson camp were a bit concerned about Hamed wrestling men to the floor. That was not counted as a knockdown, simply a slip. It's still raining here.
Hamed very confident, standing square on there. Defense right down.
He's talking to Robinson as well. Robinson says, okay then. He's trying to goad him into coming out of that defensive shell, and he's managed to do that, I think. Now Hamed's trying to open up, and look at Robinson trying to close the range. Now Hamed's laughing. This is unbelievable.
Yes, an extraordinary fight plan from Hamed. He's really taking chances in there to try and get Robinson out of that crab-like defense.
Extraordinary arrogance and bravado from Hamed. And I know this big Welsh crowd would love to have those smiles wiped off his face. He seemed to catch Robinson with one then. He just seemed to stagger a bit when that one landed. First sign of Robinson being made to struggle by Hamed's power, that.
There's Hamed looking to bring the punches up the middle and right round the sides, trying to find an opening in that high-held guard of Robinson.
What we have here as well, Glenn, of course, is psychological warfare, too, with Hamed standing in front of his man, talking to him, waving him in, doing little hip swivels. Robinson has somehow, through all of this, just got to keep his cool and keep his game plan.
That's right, that's very important for Robinson. Again, not a great deal of scoring in that round. Hamed content to try and open Robinson up, trying to bring the guard down, but not a great deal happening. He just landed with a few better shots. Hamed inside, just a few up the middle. Robinson still hasn't been able to get to Hamed.
That's Naseem Hamed. He's won the European bantamweight title, but we're up to 9 stone here. There's that very good right uppercut. That just did rock Robinson for a moment or two.
Yes, you see, right in the middle. He really got a lot of power to that. He dipped right down underneath the guard of Robinson, then right up the middle.
Hamed, who in the build-up to this fight described Robinson as a 4th division fighter, and I could beat without training for it, he said. All part of the showmanship that comes with Naseem Hamed. Round 3, it's due to go 12, of course. Then giving the second round to Naseem after an even opening round. Robinson gets through with the right hand. Hamed just smiles, but he was caught significantly by it.
Yes, that was a better punch from Robinson. He's got to try and do that. He's got to keep his guard up. He hasn't got to be tempted into making mistakes by Hamed.
Again, the right uppercut. More than anything, Robinson just off balance that time, I feel. First World Championship fight this for Naseem Hamed. Robinson has been the champion for 2.5 years and made to miss by miles, really. So trying to chase a ghost at times.
Again, Hamed using that uppercut to good effect. He's looking for that punch. It's a good guard from Robinson. Hamed's trying to bring the punches up the middle.
He's dropping the shoulders almost like a footballer, a winger preparing to go past the fullback at times. Naseem out there. Well, it's dispiriting at the moment for Robinson because all he's doing is hitting the night air. He must have thrown about 30 punches in this round and none of them have landed. Oh, and Hamed catches him with a very hurtful looking right too. Hamed's the boss at the moment, but it's early.
Yes, Hamed showing good boxing skills, nice and relaxed. And he's just bamboozling Robinson at this moment. But again, Robinson has just got to keep to his game plan, just try and apply steady pressure to Hamed. At this moment, he's not being able to get close enough to him.
You just saw what I was talking about with Hamed. He throws punches from angles other people wouldn't dream about. Now he threw a right uppercut which must have started somewhere down by his right ankle. A lot of Hamed's punches are hitting the gloves. Robinson unimpressive in his last couple of defences. But he really is up for this one, or he should be, because this is a fight which could elevate him to a new level if he can get through it. Brilliant boxing in that round, and it carries on after the bell. There's no love lost in there. I think Robinson's a little bit angry at the moment. Well, you couldn't have hit him with a bag of rice, could you?
No, he moved very well. But see, look, he's just leaning back, and then he's come out with good counters. Very elusive work there. But this is when Hamed said he was going to finish the fight inside 4 rounds.
Let's see if he's going to do an Ali and fulfill his prediction. I'm sure he'll remember that. Robinson, let me remind you again, has never been stopped yet in his career of 31 contests. That's a very good sharp left. There's hand speed as well from Naseem Hamed. Robinson so far has just not been able to apply any pressure because he just can't really land a punch, not one to speak of anyway.
Well, the problem Robinson has, when he comes out of that crouch, he's getting caught with punches.
Hamed switching from orthodox to southpaw, changing the angle, thinking of new ones, trying to befuddle and bemuse Robinson. Suddenly he'll burst into action like that and then away again. Robinson just beginning to look a little bit marked, maybe around the face. Maybe the first sign of just a little bit of puffiness around the face.
Robinson just changing his tactics a little bit. He's not chasing after Hamed so much. I feel he wants Hamed to come to him because Hamed is drawing him into mistakes.
Heads nearly clash then. And every time Robinson does come out from behind that kind of peekaboo stance of his, Hamed is looking for fast counters. And he's got the speed to do it as well. It's all Hamed at the moment, and all you can really say for Robinson at this point in it is that maybe there'll be other chapters in the story later on for him. He did say he kind of knew it might be like this early on.
Yes, he said he thought he maybe made to look stupid in a few rounds, maybe falling around a little bit. He sensed it would take a few rounds to try to get to Hamed.
Now he's doing his own version of the Ali shuffle, Hamed. Robinson just can't close the range on him. He can't get there with those body shots that would slow Hamed down.
That's the problem. Robinson needs to get to Hamed to wear him down. And at this moment, Hamed isn't allowing him to get in range. You see good defensive work there from Hamed.
Robinson all the time keeping those gloves up around his face. Naseem does not win as he predicted in the fourth round. That's how the two fighters are looking after 4 rounds, a third of the battle. Naseem in the corner with Brendan Ingle, doing the talking, Ronnie Rush with Robinson.
Second round of 5.
5th round. And now Naseem starts off by saying to Robinson, come on, try hitting me to the body then. He's been talking all the time in there to the champion. Look at the difference in punch type totals. Hamed's landed 89. We reckon to Robinson's 31 so far. I'm struggling to think of the 31 that Robinson has landed. He's missed with many more. Many more. Well, he does, doesn't he? Look as if he's going in for some kind of limbo dancing competition at times out there, Hamed, but he really does have an extraordinary talent. There's no doubt about that.
He has tremendous reflexes. And he's going to need to have them when he carries a defense as low as that. But so far, his reflexes managed to keep him out of the way of Robinson. And when Robinson tries to punch, Hamed comes back with quick counters, and then he's gone.
Somehow, some way, Robinson needs to get in close and to try and bustle him up. Use what might be his superior strength. I think Robinson, oh, he's got him! Down goes Robinson for only the 2nd time in his career. Could this be the end of his reign? 5th round, Robinson down. He's been outboxed in there at the moment, and these are bad moments now for Steve Robinson. Bravely he fights back with a body shot. But is Naseem Hamed on the verge of becoming champion here?
Yes, he's really turning on the style now.
That time he just fell over. He just fell over that time, Robinson. No knockdown, but he's marked up and swollen. His eyes look to be closing a bit.
Yes,
he's demoralised too. He's
definitely in trouble there. He doesn't know what he's got to do to get out of the way of punches.
Hamed is beginning to take him apart. This has been a mightily impressive display, an arrogant display. Cocky, you may not like it, but you do have to admire what this young man possesses in the way of boxing ability. He's driving the punches home, he's finding the angles now, and he's beginning to get through. Robinson's guard is beginning to drop. Gaps are beginning to appear, and again, Naseem tries to wrestle. This is a bad round for Robinson, and the end couldn't come quick enough.
Yes, that was a tremendous round for Hamed. He did everything that he had to do. A really good round.
I thought you were a good shot. No, that's not the end of the world. Listen to me.
Yeah.
You back it up. You're backing up. You're rocking.
Right.
Huh? You've got to start unloading shots when you get near. Take your time.
He has knocked down some beautiful punches, and he just got him with that right uppercut up the guard.
Keep your head clear.
Really very, very confident. But look, the punches come from all sorts of angles. Bringing them round the side, one right through the middle there, and then lifts that one up. Right hand, right up the middle. And down he goes.
But how do you go about preparing and fighting a guy like this?
Tremendously difficult. What do you do? Every time Robinson tries to attack, he's out of the way of Hamed, and Robinson's walking on the punches. Robinson tries to bring him to him, and Hamed's all over him.
Round 6. And Robinson here, well, he's probably lost every round bar the first. And Hamed here is going for the finish, I think. He's getting through with these punches now. They're not hitting the gloves of Robinson anymore. They're being driven through. Now he switches stance again.
You see Robinson's face very swollen around the eyes. The nose looks very painful.
Hamed complained about a low blow from Robinson there. Robinson, I think, will have been glad to hit something. The only thing I can say really here is that I remember watching Hamed's stablemate Harold Graham fighting Julian Jackson and winning in this kind of fashion and completely outboxing his man and then getting knocked out with one punch in a sudden turnaround.
That's true, but the problem with Robinson is he didn't have the punch that Julian Jackson had.
Absolutely. He can apply pressure, he gets through. Robinson does get through for once. He landed 2 or 3 there. But is it the last rally of a proud champion? Hamed is absolutely lethal with those uppercuts.
Yes, the thing that's really surprising me is inside, Hamed looks the stronger of the two.
Oh, there was a low blow there from Hamed. Robinson looks to be on unsteady legs to me now. He almost poked his gum shield out and it almost came out there as another punch flooded in.
Yes, he looks tired, hurt, getting punched around this ring, Robinson.
He's falling around the ring rather than moving around it to Robinson. This is brilliant stuff, really, from Naseem Hamed. He really may be the big, big star that he keeps telling us that he's going to be.
Robinson has a champion's heart, but is it really going to be enough?
And he's beaten the likes of Paul Hodkinson and Colin McMillan and Duke McKenzie. He's really marked up and there's blood around the face of poor Steve Robinson now. Hamed finds more angles. Referee Wiso Fernandez took quite a close look at him for a moment then.
This has been another tremendous round for Hamed.
He's been breathtaking so far. Breathtaking. Welcome back to Cardiff, where we are watching a brilliant performance. There is Naseem Hamed's dad, Sol, who runs the corner shop in Sheffield. There are all his friends and fans, and I tell you what, this Welsh contingent of fans have been absolutely silenced by what they're watching here. 7th round, and Naseem Hamed is a mile ahead. He must be a mile ahead. He'd have had to score the 5th round 10-8, 2-point margin with the knockdown. Absolutely no sign so far of Robinson being able to exert any kind of pressure or find a way back into the contest.
No, he's really just taking a slow, steady barrage of punches from Hamed. Still looks very confident, very classy, just still making a miss. Robinson trying to get in close, but still couldn't land a decent punch.
Remember, Robinson has defended this title 7 times before, and here, this young man, to be honest with you, so far, he's just been playing with it.
Yes, and during that little moment there, Hamed was looking at his corner, chatting to Brendan Ingle.
Robinson, there have been times when you wondered whether he'd get this far.
Again, Hamed calls him in, but really what can Robinson do? Every time he reaches out to throw a shot, Hamed is out of the way, but still raining blows on Robinson.
Hamed's 4 previous wins this year came in a total of 10 rounds. Even up at featherweight, he looks a real force. Robinson still trying to nail him and still hitting thin air. He really is a master in the art of hitting and not getting hit, Hamed.
Yes, the reflexes are terrific, but it's notable how strong he looks inside as well. He's able to push Robinson about. Watch, they're in close, he pushes him away.
Those eyes are closing of Robinson's. Hamed looks as fresh as a daisy. Robinson looks quite beaten up. They'll exchange words at the end of the round, or very serious glances anyway. There's Brendan Ingle, his mentor, in the Hamed corner. Well, he calls him the Naz fella, and holds him in great esteem. This young man who says he's going to win World Championships at 4 different weights, that he's going to be a legend.
Yes, some of the showboating from Naz, dancing around, talking to Brendan Ingle in the corner, and then still manages to land punches. And a little bit of the work from Robinson. He's trying desperately, but you see the evasive work, still with a smile on his face, makes Robinson miss. What can he do?
Round 8. So far, Robinson hasn't won a round, I don't think, anyway. Agree, Glenn?
Yes, I thought that the first round was probably an even round. After that, it's been Hamed all the way.
So far, the young star from Sheffield is skating away with it on this rainy night in Cardiff. For once, it was Hamed who was made to miss. your heart goes out really to Robinson. This is a proud warrior who's having a pretty demoralising, even embarrassing experience in there at the moment. But I think Hamed would do this to a lot of pretty good fighters, don't you?
I'm sure he would. Robinson is a very good fighter, beat a lot of good men. You know, he's good in lots of ways, very strong, but he can't do anything with Hamed. He tries to bring Hamed to him, he gets caught, he tries to rush at Hamed, and he walks on the punches.
Surely it can only be a matter of time before Naseem Hamed is unleashed on the American public. There are already stirrings of interest in him over there. He's just slowed up a little bit in the last couple of rounds, maybe. And that's just a slip. Now he slipped. And I think the referee stopped it. He stopped the fight as he slipped in the corner, and Prince Naseem Hamed is now king. The coronation of the young star. Prince Naseem Hamed wins his first World Championship. He hugged Steve Robinson, and that was really a brilliant display.
Yes, a very abrupt finish, but it was a good left hook.
Great. You were brilliant. You were strong, man.
Steve, you deserve everybody's recognition. Yes.
There are some nice words there exchanged between the two of them afterwards, and that was nice to see. But poor Steve Robinson. It was a fight really that, to be fair to the camp, they didn't want this soon, and they felt they weren't getting enough money for it either. That's a row that's still going on. In his first fight at featherweight, you have to say that Naseem Hamed has absolutely proved that he was a worthy #1 contender, however controversial it might have been to put him straight in.
That's right, and he's just walking forward at Robinson, just a fast little left hook. You see the legs go all a bit. It's not a slip, he just loses his legs completely. A very quick left hook. He was just posing around, wasn't doing a lot, just took Robinson to the corner. Very fast left hook, and his legs just give way completely.
Yeah, there is a wet patch as well in that corner. We saw that in one of the earlier fights. I wondered if he'd lost his footing a bit too.
Yes, it looked a bit like that, but his legs went so violently away from him, didn't they?
Yeah. It was a sort of delayed action fall. And there we are. Now that's good to see, because it might just cool the tempers of any hotheads who may want to react to this. But Naseem Hamed's victory was so utterly complete that there can be no argument at all about that. That was a stupendous display from him. Again, we still don't know what he's like under pressure, but that's because he's so very, very fast and elusive and good that nobody can put him under pressure.
That's right.
Anyway.
He's so very, very quick. And Robinson was trying very hard to nail him down, to get to him, but Hamed was just out of the way. He just ducks and slips, and then he turns out of the way, and then he comes back with punches to hurt somebody. So a very, very difficult opponent he's going to beat.
Well, he wants to, I know, go back down to super bantamweight and win a world championship at that weight. And one of the champions is Marco Antonio Barrera, who's called the baby-faced assassin. And that would be an absolutely brilliant fight if they could ever get that together between those two, because he, too, apparently is some talent. But for the moment, let's not take it away from Prince Naseem Hamed. He's as good as all the boasts. He's a world champion, and he deserves it.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute 40 seconds of the 8th round, the referee has called a halt to the action in favour of the new WBO featherweight champion of the world, Prince Naseem Hamed.
Subdued applause, it has to be said, and maybe even grudging applause from the more partisan of the Robinson followers. But anyone with an ounce of sportsmanship in them, I think, will know that they were in the presence of a very special talent here. I think there may be other world championship wins down the road for this 21-year-old.
Yes, I thought this was going to be too big of a test. I thought the jump up in weight, I thought Robinson had been a good, solid champion. This was going to be a very tough fight for Hamed, but he boxed fantastically. He did everything right. He didn't allow Robinson to get in the fight, and a tremendous performance.
His dad holding up the belt in the ring, and Prince Naseem Hamed, the young man who was spotted as an urchin fighting in the street and then dragged off to the St. Thomas Club as a boy, has now realized his dream of becoming a world champion. He's been with Brendan Ingle for 14 years. An Irishman who runs his gyms, as one of the writers said the other day, like a home for waifs and strays. And he's done for the gym what Harold Graham, who I think was one of the best British boxers never to win a world title, couldn't do. He's got a belt around his shoulders as it is now. He's the WBO featherweight champion, and he did it in the most brilliant and emphatic fashion. We'll try to grab a word with him in just a moment. He's never short of a few words. It might be more than one, I think, but let's say that he's entitled to his night. There's been no histrionics from him either. I think he's been sensible here. He's not tried to goad the crowd at all.
Yes, I think that is very sporting of him. It's been a very good win for him, and he hasn't, you know, he's accepted it well. He hasn't shown off too much, or, you know, it's been a tremendous performance.
What now for Robinson, Glenn?
I'm not sure. It's been a tough career. He's done tremendously well. Been a very good champion. Beat a lot of good contenders, and it's been an honourable title hold. Where he can go from now, where he wants to go from now, it's really up to Steve Robinson.
Yeah, he's only 26. There may be other domestic titles for him to chase again, and maybe he can plan another world title campaign. But the champion now is Prince Naseem Hamed. Make that King Naseem Hamed, I guess. He's with Gary Norman.
Naz, I have to say, I've never seen anything quite like that in my life.
No, as you know, I'm not making a big song and dance about it again. You've seen it for yourself now. I'm world champion, the belt's there. The viewers know he's the best. Now, he said he was too strong. Everything his trainers and his manager says. What happened? I was too strong, too fast, and too good, and I'm world champ.
But give him some credit. I mean, a lot of guys would have wilted way before then.
I'll give him so much credit because he was so strong. I was hitting him with everything. I predicted round 4. I mean, end of the day, he was very strong. I could do it in round 4. Full credit to Steve. He was very strong. He took best shots of mine. But you know, as world champion, don't you, Gary?
You said you would, and you are. Now, there was a lot of animosity between you two leading up to this. What did you say afterwards? It looked quite sensitive. It looked quite caring. Yeah,
I said to him, you was a great champion. You were so strong, Steve. I've never punched anybody so hard and them not gone down before that. I was just amazed with his chin. Basically, he was a really good fighter. Full credit to Steve. He's been a great champion, and I'm not surprised the way he beat Duke McKenzie and Colin McMillan, Hodgkinson, all them, because he was a great fighter. But as you know, tonight's the 30th, and I've become king. I'm not changing my name to king yet. I'll remain the prince.
Now, tell me about the fight. You were hitting him at will. Did he catch you at all? I mean, just tell me how it went.
Well, you can see my face, and you can see his. But he caught me with some good shots. I kept up, caught me with some cracking left hooks, some cracking right hooks. But I'm just too good. I proved it on the night. I proved what I was going to say from the age of 11, 18, when I first started as a professional. I was going to be world champion. I'm world champion today. Frank Warren's my promoter. Brendan Ingle's my manager. They've done the business for me. I've got in and produced the goods every time.
Let's have a word for Brendan, because he's had you for a long time and he's made you what you are. I mean, give him some credit.
No, I'm saying
Great
nothing.
credit.
He done the job. Marvellous. And Frank Warren, fair play to him in Sky. I'm over the moon for him. He done the job, and fair play to Steve Robinson. Fought like a champion, plenty of heart, and he took some good shots on the chin and he come back. Over the moon.
Do you think you can fight any better than that? I mean, that is an extraordinary display.
Obviously, I'll get better. As you know, my punching power now, you know it's still extraordinary. And Steve took some great shots. You see what put him down at the end? It was one clean shot. That's what I said. If I catch a man clean, I will take